let's go back to the conversation around the court ruling on PDP convention. This is the latest in the long line of legal actions. I'm joined now by the party's caretaker chairman in the South, Emmanuel Ogidi. With him is a legal practitioner, Liborous Oshoma. Thank you, gentlemen, for obliging us. I had a different question scripted. Instead, I want to start with you, Liborous, please. Ememobong, the factional national publicity secretary, said the court declined to grant the order of mandamus sought before it because doing so would amount to sitting on appeal over decisions of courts of coordinate jurisdiction, and that they are going to appeal. I don't know if you could just explain that a little for us. Let's start from there.
If what I listened to him and also listened to, I think the lawyer that spoke in your news, Elena Sick, if your order of mandamus that you sought for was that the court couldn't grant it because the court would not sit on appeal over a decision of court of coordinate jurisdiction, then why are you going on appeal? Because if a court cannot sit on appeal over a decision, it means that decision given was not against you. So, but from what we gathered and from what I have read, and even from this statement, it is obvious, the fact that they are appealing, it is obvious that the decision of the court is not favorable to them. And it was very clear that the court had said, after violating other court orders, you can now come and ask me to rubber stamp, you know, what you have done. Remember, there were 3 court decisions. The one of Justice Lawful, Justice Omotosho, that had said that congresses were not conducted in the southeast, in some southeastern states. And so to that extent, until those congresses are conducted, PDP should not go ahead. But another court in Oyo State, the State High Court, went ahead to give them the nod. Adamagu and Co should go ahead to conduct the Congress. And if truly the PDP were sure of what they did in Ibadan, certainly there was no need going back to court to ask the court for an order of mandamus to recognize what you did, because you did that, you know, in conjunction, you know, with a court order. A court order actually, you know, gave you the nod to do that. But because, you know, these politicians, they know what they do. They know that, you know, they are standing on a shaky ground, and so they just decided, which became the albatross, though, to go back to the same court. Initially was Oyo State High Court, now a Federal High Court, for an order of mandamus to recognize them, to compel INEC to recognize them.
That was actually my original question, too. Is this not self-sabotage, you know, legally?
It is self-sabotage. It is self-sabotage. It is self-sabotage, because if they had not gone back to that same court, probably would have been waiting for the final decision in Omotosho and Justice Lawful's case. But they went back to the Federal High Court in the same Ibadan, asking for an order of mandamus to be recognized. And the court said, well, I am aware that there are other orders of my learned brothers that you have violated. After violating those orders, you want me to go ahead and give you a rubber stamp recognition. And the court now even went ahead to say, well, everything you had done in Ibadan is a nullity. And so until a caretaker committee is instituted, certainly you cannot be, your elected officials in Ibadan cannot be recognized. For me, I think that's sabotage. It should be a lesson for politicians in Nigeria, certainly.
Emmanuel, let me come to you, because I am unsure if you belong to any faction. I'm going to ask, what is this court judgment to you? Does it settle who the lawful PDP leadership is for now, or does it simply punish disobedience without resolving the leadership question?
We're already in a big court, so whatever anybody is doing, they're just doing it. I'm not a lawyer, but I've been told so. What is an appeal? What the judge did today, well, the judge have also kept quiet and waited for the appeal court. Should have not concluded. It's like what Justice Abdulaziz did in Abuja. We wanted to withdraw our case. She said she dismissed it. We were just looking at them. All kinds of things are being in the court today. But until they allow the parties to run on their own, we keep having it about it. We had the same problem because I'm also part of it. When the APC brought Sheriff to our party, we ran through the courts from the High Court to the Appeal Court, Important Court, and finally Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court gave us judgment. This is the same route again. But this time, it is one of our own who took the assignment to try to destroy us. That's Wike. Wike was one of our finest. Then he just went wrong. And look at what we have found today. But I still believe that the Appeal Court will give us justice. And we're going to run and deliver on our mandates.
I think it's fair to also put the same question to you that Liborous brought up towards the end. And you did a national convention. You also went back to the court. Do you have maybe the mindset of why that reasoning was pursued?
Why we were, you see, the INEC is no longer independent. Because the INEC we thought was independent was involved in all the processes of convention. They were involved in the 101 NEC meeting, 102 NEC meeting, all the decisions were taken, they were part of it. And the letter was written to INEC, INEC received it, we have the CDC. So for INEC to last minute say they were not part of it, it was strange. So that was why INEC should be made to do it because they were part of it. Convention is a process. Convention is not on that November 15th and 16th. No. It started from world congresses, to local government congress, to state congress, to zonal congress, and then the convention. With 7 NEC meetings in between.
All right, let me come back. All right, let me come back to you, Liborous. They've already said they're going to appeal this matter, and probably you've had this question a zillion times. Will the status quo remain pending further court action, or this ruling stays until another court action maybe reverses it or reinstates it, reaffirms it?
Let me quickly say here that there is no basis for analogy between the case of Modu Sharif and McAfee and what is currently happening here. The case of Modu Sharif and McAfee was on party leadership. What they are discussing here now is the party congresses and convention. And if you have 3 court orders that had said don't go ahead, and then eventually you had one who said go ahead, certainly the court is not going to clap for you at the end of the day and say go ahead until you clear all of the decisions of the lower court to be in your favor. And when they also know that they had appealed those decisions of the lower court, and now insisting that INEC must recognize them, and then at the last minute wanting to withdraw the suit, for me was, a self-sabotage that went wrong. And also, this decision of the court today stays until set aside by a superior court. So as it stands, if PDP is not careful the way they are going, if PDP is not careful the way they are going, they might not recover before 2027. And I pray the court is able to give them judgment before the Supreme Court finally is able to give them judgment so that they can put their house in order, so that we can have a formidable alternative. But as they are going with all of these multifaceted suits, I doubt if they will be able to put their house in order before then.
Emmanuel, what's your response to that? With the party now split between a court-recognized caretaker committee and a convention-elected national working committee, what is the way forward for your party so you don't miss out?
We're not going to miss out. We're focusing on the appeal. We're not going to miss out. We're focusing on the appeal. We believe that we're going to get the appeal. We believe so.
All right.
The courts are not just bad like that. We believe that.
All right, Emmanuel Ogidi, thank you very much for speaking with us. Liborous Oshoma, always a pleasure to have you on the news. Thank you.